I've watched monkeyBOT for over 700 hours. It's been live in real market conditions, up and down and choppy environments. And so because I built it, I also know what people think it does versus what I actually know it will do for you. And so if you trade SPX, especially 0DT, this video is going to give you a cleaner way to see the market and a better way to manage your risk through this indicator. Here's my promise to you. I'm going to explain why I built monkeyBOT, and I'm going to do that in very plain English so everybody can understand. And then 3 ways I personally use it in every session. Directional bias, reversal and timing, and also how you can trade in management. So if you understand those 3 things, you'll stop trading random moments throughout the day. You'll be able to trade the market in a way that is based on market states. So monkeyBOT is super exciting. It's something that I've been working on for many, many months, and I have done some extensive testing on it. And let's just get straight into it. So the why I built monkeyBOT, well, it's mostly out of frustration. Most tools out there, they either are lagging or they throw so much noise and visual clutter on the charts that you end up a lot more confused than you were earlier. So SPX is not a market where you get to think slowly, especially when you're trading 0DT. You have to be fast. If you hesitate, you will pay for it, or you'll just miss out on big moves. So over 13 years of trading, and a lot of those years, obviously not 13 of them, but many of those years were trading SPX and 0DT. So I've developed a way of reading strength and weakness that perhaps not many do. And it doesn't come from only one indicator. It's more of a broad look at things. And so it was coming from this kind of context, multiple signals, multiple instruments, multiple time frames, and taking all that and creating something that is valuable. Okay, so I took this internal process, that kind of idea of sense, and built this indicator that is viewed through TradingView. I spent many, many, many hours, hundreds of hours, not only building it, but also testing it. And I wanted to create something that is objective, something that is visual, and something that you can run that becomes repeatable, right? It's not a one-off thing or signal. And so that's what monkeyBOT is. It's not this shiny visual indicator that you get because it looks cool. You have to see it more of it being a decision engine more than anything. So I'm going to explain what it is more in detail. I'm going to do this without the hype. And in simple kind of terms, monkeyBOT is a market state engine. It's built to help you see when the market is strong, when buyers are pressing or when sellers are pressing price lower. And it's also it will also tell you when there's rotation, reversals, and so on. So it's definitely not a prediction engine, right? It will not predict the future. What it's trying to do is it's trying to tell you what's happening right now, right? And it's doing it in a way where it just allows you and your eyes to process it very, very quickly. So as we said, SPX is very fast. It's a fast market, especially when you have heightened VIX. And so having this clear mind is an edge in itself. And so monkeyBOT is designed to reduce a lot of the delay that a lot of the other tools have out there, right? We talked about the quick markets, how if you're not there for when the state is changing, you might be late to enter or late to exit even. And so this is what try to bring it all together into this one tool. So how will it change your trading? And I think this is a very important question that you all have to ask yourselves. But the way I see it is simply when you can see the different market states, your own behavior changes in many different ways, right? Just a few examples. You'll stop chasing candles, right? You'll start trying to force trades in a choppy environment, right? Or you stop trading kind of breakouts when you know that we're chopping around. You start pressing on the gas, which is very important as a trader, when the market is actually offering these clean continuation patterns. And the opposite side of that coin, you'll be able to cut faster when the market is signaling, exhaustion, right? So just to summarize, you have less chasing, you have cleaner entries, you have faster, better exits, and you'll be able to hold your winners longer. And I think this is what really matters here, right? Like there are three ways of using monkeyBOT, and these are the things that you can use monkeyBOT for. They're directional, they're reversals, and management, right? Management of current positions. So what we're going to do next is actually we're going to take a look at monkeyBOT in TradingView. I'm going to walk you through those three things and how they kind of present themselves visually on the chart. So we're inside of TradingView, and as you can see, I'm moving around the charts. We are looking at the 10-minute time frame in SPX, and what you're seeing here are the last couple of sessions of SPX. And I'm not going to get into the details of everything. I think if you sign up, once you sign up, there will be a handbook that you will have. It's a resource that will walk you through everything very much in detail. And if you also sign up for the pro package, you'll be able to, obviously reach out to me personally through DMs and whatnot if you have any questions. But just looking at the different the charts with the visual indicator, which is these cyan and magenta candles and text. You also have a couple panels below, and I can kind of briefly explain what these are. But we need to look at this from the context of directional, reversals, and management. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through a few different scenarios that kind of explains that. But before that, let's just talk about what we're looking at. So this is a 10-minute chart, and there are a lot of lines. They're just resistance and support. Okay, they're derived in various ways. Now, yesterday's session opened up. Let's take a look. All right, so we open up over here, and we saw a little move down and then up. And here you saw a nice little kind of trigger to the downside, right? So EXP stands for an expansion. So you have an expansionary move that you can expect. You can see a widening of the range with some volume and velocity to the candles. And so this signal here off of 38, you can see you could have taken this short, and the arrow here points to the downside, which implies a potential short opportunity. And so this 38 moved all the way down to, let's just say 67.80. So that's a 50 point, almost 60 point move lower off of the signal. And in addition, you'll see that there is a MOMO, so that's MOMO or momentum candle. These momentum candles often trigger, and they're often best when you have an expansion, an EXP candle that tells you that we might see an expansion of the range to either down or the upside. And then when you see a MOMO candle flashing, that often tells you that there's still juice there for a continuation move in that direction to the downside. So this is a very good example of that. It's not always this clean, but yesterday's move to the downside was a very clean one. And so this reflects that. So let's say you were in a short here. It's a directional move to the downside. So that's number one of those three things that we're going to look at. So if you would have taken the short, you would have gone with that. You probably would have taken some profit on the way. But whenever you see the Momo candle, it just allows you to stay in that trade, right? So that's your management of that trade. So it just gives you confidence to hold longer. We all have those kind of issues where we maybe sell too early, or we don't hold too long enough to take advantage of the big move. Okay, so that's a good example of that. Now, when it comes to reversals, those reversals are often very good when they are around some support. And so this red line here is a very important area of support. You can see that the first time we moved into it, we started seeing things shifting, right? So if you look down here, this panel down here, this pink color that you're seeing here, it just tells you that there's a lot of selling going on, heavy selling going on. There's a lot more selling than buying, right? And you can see that once we got to this support, this red line over here, you can see that that shifted, right? It started shifting. We started seeing buyers stepping in. So what does that imply? Well, it implies that buyers are absorbing the selling, right? The selling is slowing down, and there's a potential reversal trade there, right? So this EXP to the upside just tells you that, right? And so we got a nice little bounce off of this 800 into the highs over here. And so that reversed. We did not get a signal to reverse there. And then another at 67.82, right? 67.82 was near that low day, very close to this red line. Once again, an expansionary move. We got a double bottom that provided us with a huge move back to the high of day, right? And so that is a very good kind of example of a reversal where you have a directional move, and then you have buyers getting absorbed, and then you have this very visual indicator telling you that potentially we could see a reversal back up to the upside, right? And so let's say you're short, and you start seeing these flashing, right? That perhaps will give you that insight that you need to take some off, right? You take some profit and maybe reevaluate, right? So it doesn't often act as a new entry kind of signal or idea. It's more of or it could also be a way to manage your existing position that you have taken. And that's a very, very important point, right? And then further throughout the day, once we made this move into the high day, just like what happens often during high day, you often see this kind of, reversal as sellers step in near high day. And we did get that, right? So we saw a reversal signal up here, down almost back to 6 to 800, so almost a 40-point move lower. And what's important here is to show you kind of like how it acts, right? Because what we're seeing here are the confirmed states. So there are multiple states in this, and you'll see what I'm talking about in this video that I'm going to show you here next. So this video was recorded yesterday, and it's a video towards the end of the day. And so I'm not going to play it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to actually scrub it. And you're going to see how the indicator is moving. So price is moving up and down. And this is towards the end of the day. We had a couple of signals up here of a potential reversal back down and up. And so we didn't really go anywhere here. It was a little bit of a stalemate. And so I wasn't a short. And the way I managed it was that, there wasn't a significant push towards high day. And we started seeing this. So as the candle is developing, you sometimes see this yellow flashing. And so the yellow flashing just implies that the state of that moment in the market might trigger a Momo move down. So you see this yellow over here? So that just tells me that there's potentially a momentum signal developing, right? It's an early indication of a potential move lower. So whenever you see that and you short, that should give you confidence that, the conditions of the market are shaping up in a way where you can be confident enough to hold just a little longer. As long as the technicals are there, the price action is starting to form here. And so this Momo kind of started flashing. I call it flashing. It goes on and off. It just tells you kind of that things are shaping up, and it just shows you the instantaneous nature of this indicator. And then at some point here, it flashed pink, right? So this now is a confirmed move to the downside, right? So this candle closed in the state of the market that is kind of could facilitate a push lower, right? It could push lower. And so as this kind of progresses, you'll see that we started catching other momentum moves to the downside, right? You're starting to see sellers down here piling in more. It's a very big kind of selling candle here, right? And throughout this entire sequence here, sellers are piling in. We didn't see a cyan candle in terms of the buyers versus the sellers down here. So that's another sign of that should give you confidence. Also down here, you can see that the momentum is shifting to bearish, that kind of magenta color. And this is what happens towards the end of the day, right? We push into the support down here where we closed the day before, right? So this was a very nice sequence of events. You can see that, let me see if I can show you. Just going back to the presentation here, you can see that this is exactly the sequence that we took, that we were looking at live. And you can see that I bought the 6850 put, that with the one of the exits, the largest exit, the 1/8 exit, I held a few runners. It moved from entry to this 12, so 120, 140% exit there. So that's very important. What I would say is, and it's what's important to kind of talk about here, and we've spent some good amount of time kind of discussing what it is and what it looks like and how you could trade it, directionally when it comes to how to trade it when it comes to reversals, and how to actually use it for managing your own trade. But it's also important to talk about what it's not, right? I think it's important to treat it not as a signal engine, right? It's not a signal that should give you commands up or down, right? It should be more of a this kind of second voice that tells you what could happen, right? And you have to use your technicals, your trade thesis, your trade style in order to take that trade, right? You cannot ignore the structure of the market, even though this is flashing, let's say, a potential move down, right? Structurally, the market needs to line up as well. Also, you have to be aware of, there might be instances where the market is very choppy. And although this monkeyBOT is very good when it comes to chop, because that is when it fires off a lot of reversals, up and down. It's a lot of two-way trading. But if we're trending to the upside and it calls out reversals, you might have to question it, right? And we've built some frameworks around trying to catch the knife, for example, right? Both to the upside or to the downside, right? It will require a lot more for a reversal signal to happen on a trend day, for example. And that's all built into the logic. So that should eliminate a lot of those kind of false signals that you get. Okay, and so what I would say, this tool, it works best as a filter, and more of a confirmation tool than a tool that should give you a signal or a command to trade in or out. Okay, when things align with the structure of the market, and you have price confirming and the price action looks very good, that is when it's the most kind of powerful. Okay, and that concludes it, guys. I hope this video was helpful. This is a feature that is released by Trade with Insight. That is the community that I trade in. We've done extensive work to ensure that this is something that is valuable to everybody that wants it. And there's a link in this post below. You can go and check it out. all the different packages that we have for this. This is something that is super near and dear to myself. I feel that it's helped me personally very much. I hope it helps you as well. And as always, my mission has always been as a trader, and especially in the later years, to pay it forward. And so this is just another way for me to pay it forward in a way that I think could help you guys on a very intimate level in your trading day to day, and specifically SPX 0DT. Um, One last thing that I've noticed that I've forgotten is that this could be applied to individual tickers as well, but it's created for SPX more specifically. It could also be used on different time frames. The higher the time frame, the less noise you'll get, as many things of this kind of nature is. Okay, so as always, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time with me. I hope this was very helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to just kind of post them, and I'll try to answer them in the comments below. But have a great day, and I hope you guys are as excited as I am for this next chapter. Take care. Bye bye.